Welcome to Event Radio, covering local drag racing, stock car racing, motorcycles, go-karts. If it's got wheels and you can race it, you'll hear about it here. Event Radio is motorsports radio on steroids. Now, let's join your hosts, Spivvy Williams and Terrible T Guy.
Quick Fuel Technology, the innovators in fuel systems, introduces the latest in high-temperature coating technology for select street and performance carburetors. QFT's new Black Diamond series features a unique satin black Teflon coating that provides award-winning good looks and lasting durability. The Black Diamond series is impact-resistant, repels all underhood chemicals, and reduces fuel temperature by 6% for improved performance. The Black Diamond series by Quick Fuel, the ultimate in form and function.
All right, guys, welcome to the next edition of Event Radio. We're going to bring you sort of a special show today. We're in the conference room, and I feel like I'm in the conference room of the New York Stock Exchange. This is an absolutely gorgeous building. But we're with a gentleman that near and dear to my heart, number one, because he's a drag racer. Number two, he has a absolutely gorgeous show car Corvette. But I guess his claim to fame, if you will, he is probably one of the best engineers anywhere around. He owns a company called DDS Engineering, and what his name is Dennis Smith, and what he has done for our area, along with a million things, he has figured out, or they called him when the Corvette went south for the winter down the big hole. And he figured out what caused that to happen, and more important than that, he figured out how for him to fix it. So we're gonna get to bend his ear for just a little while. We're going to introduce you to him. If you met him at the racetrack, you'd probably only see the back of his Corvette. So we want you to know him up front and personal. But very, very nice gentleman. I'm excited about doing this show, and I think you'll like it. So. Don't go anywhere. Run to the bathroom, whatever you need to do. We're going to say hi to our sponsors, take a little break, and we will be right back.
On the track or on the street, the number one brand in performance is Holley. Have you heard about the Ultra Street Avengers, Ultra Double Pumpers, Ultra HP, and Ultra Dominator carburetors? They're ultra light, ultra cool, and ultra fast. Holley carbs are the most powerful carbs money can buy with no further modifications. Holley, winning performance for over 100 years.
All right, guys, we are back, and as I said, I've got my good friend here, Mr. Dennis Smith. Dennis, how are you?
I'm doing well today. It's a good day. Feeling much better.
Are you?
Yep, coming out of surgery, back surgery, and I'm finally on top of the world again.
So you hadn't been naked skateboarding, have you?
No, thank goodness.
Okay, all right.
No, you and I wouldn't be able to sit here and talk. It'd have me locked up somewhere.
Well, I know, but see, that's when you get older, a little older. Of course, you're not as old as I am, but when you get a little older, you can get by with that stuff. See?
Oh, that's the excuse?
Huh? Yeah. You're probably talking to the only guy you have ever met that has ridden a jet ski in a shopping center parking lot.
Oh.
Yeah,
that is almost unheard of.
Well, we're not an engineer, but we learned how to block the drains and have about a 4-foot pond, I guess you would say, in a Fairview shopping center parking lot. And we took jet skis out there and rode. We made the front page of the Daily News, buddy.
That's cool.
We're a
That's
star.
Cool.
There you go. You're a drag racer.
Yeah, going way back, but again, just resurrected it more recently. Last year, finally got back into it and got devoted to it. But
is it super gas Corvette? Is that what it is?
Well, it could probably run a super gas, but it's a 9-second car.
Oh, and, well, that's not.
It's a pretty quick little car.
No, it's an awesome car. And what's really cool, you have its brother that matches it almost in a completely original car. And man, that's gorgeous. Wow, I love that thing.
Yeah, they make a nice pair for pictures and so forth.
Oh,
They
yeah.
do.
Yeah, it's a photo opportunity
Yeah.
big time. What, you said you got back in it. Did you drag race something else earlier? Or?
Oh, I tried it as a young man in the teens and 20s, and then, of course, life took hold. Had to make a living, got away, and I woke up a couple of years ago and decided, if I'm ever going to do it again, I better do it. I'm getting old.
Oh, well,
And,
no, you're just seasoned.
Well, okay. I'll take
See,
that.
just
I'll
seasoned.
take that
You're
as
not-
a compliment then.
Yeah. I mean, you're still cool enough to eat country ham and drinking sweet
That's
tea.
right.
See, now, we really get nervous when we interview somebody that's from farther north than Smiths Grove.
Oh, yeah.
Because they don't even know what sweet tea and country
Yeah.
ham are. So, but we're cool. How long you been an engineer?
Oh, been in this practice. Our business has been here for 42 years, so we've been around here a long time.
Yeah,
been a licensed engineer since the early 80s, so whatever that figures out, about 35 years.
Long time.
Yep, been a while.
Okay, all right. What engineering pays for the habit of drag racing? Is that it?
Well, between engineering and a few other businesses out there that we kind of tap every now and then for
There
a
you
few
go.
resources.
There you go. Well, and by the way, guys, sponsorship opportunities are available
Oh,
with
yeah,
this gentleman,
yeah.
and when this show's over, he'll know how to talk the talk. So, and all you got to do is watch a couple of the YouTube videos, and he can walk the walk too in the Corvette because there's some of those on there. What'd you think about your first 9-second ride? Tell me about that.
Oh, it was thrilling actually.
Did it
car
scare
was,
you?
Oh no, I'd kind of worked into it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because last fall I started out. The car was really set up for 8th mile, and the quickest the car had ever run was like a 6.3, about 113.
Yeah.
And managed to get it down to a 592 last November at about 115.
Yeah.
I was thrilled.
yeah.
That was the first thrill. And then we tinkered a little bit, and I wanted to try a quarter-mile pass, and my first quarter-mile pass was 9:45, and I thought, this car's got it. Next two passes had 9:39, and the 60-foot, 1,000-foot, and a quarter-mile were all within a thousandth of a second of each other. So consistency in the car.
Boy, that's
And I credit the car, not the driver.
well. Hey, that'll win races anywhere,
Yeah.
my friend. That's the thing that so many racers strive for that they just can't do. They can make it do one of the essentials, but they can't make it do all of them. And boy, to have that, you're a lucky man, my friend.
Yeah, it's a fun little car, and
Yeah.
I'm really having a ball with it.
And you do some car shows with the other one, and you win that too. That's pretty cool. That's pretty.
It
cool.
is, and that was that kind of when I got out of the arena of drag racing several years ago, back in 1980. I bought a '66 Corvette, began sort of just a cosmetic restoration, showed it, and then spent the next 15 years trying to find the correct parts to put it back like it was when it left the plant June 3rd, 1966.
Yeah. So you went. Did you go out and get you a bill sheet so you do all the stuff?
I did a lot of research. NCRS Records was very helpful. Found the motor found a correct motor for it in a little town outside of San Diego, California, and bought it and had it sent in here. And great numbers matching car. Casting dates were perfect for the car. The heads are both the same casting date and one day after the block. So it was a great matchup.
That's
So
better than money in the bank, isn't it, my friend?
It is.
Oh,
But it
I
took a
tell you
lot
what.
of searching to do it.
Oh yeah, and that's a labor of love. That's most of the guys that buy the fully restored cars, they just sort of park them and wait for them to go up in value. But to do one like that, that's a labor of love.
It is.
And probably makes it a lot more fun for the ownership of having it. Knowing that you did that.
Yep.
It's cool. Drag race. Any run ever scared you?
Had one little experience last fall at Beach Bend. It was my fault. I got a little bit out of the groove to the left, and me and the wall almost got intimate. So
We don't want to
yeah.
do that.
So we got out of that one. Still was a good pass, but we figured we saw real quickly how important it was to get in the right groove on the starting line. So
With you being a racer and your ties to the Corvettes as much as they are, is Dennis Smith going to get a road race car?
probably not. I enjoy it. I've done some on-track time at the Motorsports Park in a 01 SS Camaro, and that's fun. I've done several passes there with even the professional drivers, Andy Pilgrim, John Heinrich. Both been in car with them at 150 plus on that track at Motorsports Park, and buddy, it's a thrill. It's a thrill. I'm not kidding you. If you once you get in your blood, you're gonna keep it.
You're Mr. Corvette guy, so if there's ever anybody that was gonna try it, it would probably be you. Is that Motorsports Park going to be a big asset to the community, do you think?
Oh, it is, and it already has been.
Do you think so?
I think it's really doing better, I think, than we projected it would. And I say we, some of my background, I served 8 years on the Corvette Museum Board, and kind of in the pre-planning stages of bringing that Motorsports Park to reality. And then even when I rotated off the board, I was asked by the chairman at that time to stay on the planning committee for the Motorsports Park, and we were fortunate enough to be selected to do the engineering on the Motorsports Park.
Well,
so
they knew who the good guy was.
Well,
That's what it was.
so.
Hey,
Hope so.
listen, they don't put out any junk out there, my friend. They the stuff that they do. I remember the museum and its very humble beginnings in a little bitty shopping center off of Scottsville Road, and I think it had one car in there. And everybody said, "Oh, this is going to be a hit." And boy, the people in town said, "Oh, no, there won't be anything come of that." Now it is probably the second highest draw of anything that Bowling Green has to offer. You know, of course, Beach Bend is the first, but it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool thing. I, for one, am tickled that it's here.
We're
I
thrilled.
love it. I love it. Everybody asks us because we do this radio thing and we go all over the country. And when they tell them, they say, "Where are you from?" And we say Bowling Green, Kentucky. Well, the first thing they say, "Well, that's where the Corvettes come from."
Yeah.
You know, and before we're always known about Pauline's, but that's, now we've stepped up, buddy. We've got
right.
Corvettes now.
Yeah, we're classy now.
There you go. Listen, we're going to take a real quick break for a little sponsor message, and we're going to dig a little deeper in the Mr. Dennis Smith and find out just a little more about what's happening here. You're on Event Radio. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
On the track or on the street, the number one brand in performance is Holley. Have you heard about the Ultra Street Avengers, Ultra Double Pumpers, Ultra HP, and Ultra Dominator carburetors? They're ultra light, ultra cool, and ultra fast. Holley carbs are the most powerful carbs money can buy with no further modifications. Holley, winning performance for over 100 years.
All right, guys, we are back, and I'm trying to figure out how I can get Dennis's seat and be the CEO of DDS Engineering, because I could move over in the big guy's chair. But right now, I'm just sitting in the side of the convention, or the meeting room, you will say, the boardroom, I guess is the proper thing. But boy, this is really nice. We've got screens for presentations. You do a lot of that, right?
Yeah, I do. I've been asked to do several. Been fortunate to do even last year at the National Corvette Homecoming. Did 2 presentations for Joe, one on the sinkhole collapse just current up to that point.
Yeah, we're going to get into that in a minute.
Yeah, and did one on Motorsports Park. Doing several others, done some at the local schools, done Lions clubs, got plans. I've been asked to do a presentation on the sinkhole the sinkhole collapse at the National Council of Engineering Examiners in Williamsburg, Virginia in August. And
see, that makes us on our game. We got to you first. How about that?
That's right.
See, well, I tell you what, the old fat guy is just lucky, I guess. Maybe that's what it is. When the sinkhole collapsed, I was in Daytona, and I turned on the TV, and I could not believe what I was seeing. What caused that?
Well, ultimately, it took a while to really determine what caused it, but it was more of a cave roof collapse is what this one was, which a lot of sinkholes are.
Well, yeah, a lot of people don't know we're actually sitting probably on top of Mammoth Cave.
Yeah, we're sitting on one. In fact, right after we moved into this building, 15 feet outside this wall right here, we had one fall in right here within a month after we moved in. Wow. So you can drill, you can probe, you can do all the testing you want to, and then Mother Nature will still surprise you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, what that's like the old carpenter's adage, with hammer and nails, we do our best, paint and putty will cover the rest.
That's right.
But it is, right. You know. But, I mean, you guys do a lot of that because you do core drilling, you do everything before you build a building, and try to get the handle on it, if you will.
Yes.
And that's where you come in.
Yep.
I mean, your talents come into play. There was a rumor, and you can dispel this on this show. The rumor was that when they built the Motorsports Park, they filled in some holes that actually disrupted the water flow and caused perhaps that collapse. Is that a bunch of stuff? There
was no indication in what we found that caused it. It is true that we had to cap several sinkholes, and in fact, the last count, over 100 sinkholes on Motorsports Park. but we anticipated that. We
Sure.
knew that was going to happen. We didn't know it was going to have that many, but we knew it would happen. But from all indications, what we did over there had no effect whatsoever on what happened at the Corvette Museum Frustrum.
Okay, well, see, that's one of the big – you hear a million – there's a whole bunch of armchair quarterbacks out there that think they know everything. And it's so cool to me to have you across from me because you do know, and they're guessing and and I think that's really, really cool. Is there any way to tell if that could happen anywhere else?
Well, we did some microgravity studies around the museum there to make sure that we didn't have another major cave void within the museum area. There was no indication that there was. Okay. So to say that there's anything else going to happen to the museum, it's unlikely. That's not to say we guarantee that it won't.
I understand. I understand.
But no indications of it.
But as far as, here we're going to fill this one up. Now next week, that's the gift shop's going to fall in or something. And there were some people that were scared to death of that. And I said, man, those guys are smarter than that. Don't worry about that. That's not going to happen. Did they call you immediately?
Well, I had the first call about 7 o'clock. And of course, it happened just after 5:30 in the morning. There was a lot of confusion. I had a call even from my son, was on the interstate, saw the fire trucks there and called me, said, Dad, what's going on? I didn't know. As soon as I hung up from him, I got another call, got one from my geotech engineer here. We headed out there right then. And when I got there, one of the ladies at the front desk ushered me on back and let me meet with the fireman and gave me an idea of kind of what we were facing.
Yeah. Well, it was quite a deal. I mean, man, it just and to watch the security cameras pick that up and be able to sit there and watch it happening, that played on every TV station, I guess, in the world. And as bad as that was, it actually put the Corvette Museum on the map.
Oh, it did. Absolutely.
Debbie told me that it doubled their attendance numbers.
Yes.
And then there was a lot of speculation on, well, you need to leave the hole there. You need to put a glass top over it. You need to this. You need to this. But I did come up with one good suggestion that worked. And I think I was the one that talked them into selling the dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said, you can pay for that motorsports park if you just put that in a little deal and sell some of it.
At $10 a pop. You go a long way.
Yeah, it doesn't take long. Well, they sold all those bricks at Pauline's back then, so I figured that might work. In fixing something like that has to be a major deal. You not only first have to determine the cause, but then you got to be pretty sharp, my friend, to figure out how to fix it to where it doesn't happen again.
Well, it was a challenge for all of us, and we had a great team that came together. We were there. Of course, we've been involved with the museum since day one.
Yeah.
You mentioned the one over in the shopping center. So we were a founding member. My wife and I are founders, lifetime members. So we've been devoted to that museum for a long time. So it was kind of my baby. When they called me that morning, I had a vested interest in it.
Well, not to mention that you're the best there is.
Well,
that has nothing to do with it, okay?
Maybe.
But I understand, and if you were not, they would still have called you because you're the bad boy on the block when it comes to the engineering department, and trust me, they would have called you anyway.
It was a challenge. The whole team. We brought the best of the best together there as well. Scott Murphy Daniel on the construction side. We had Hayward Baker out there they're the world-renowned geotechnical construction consultants. So we had all that super high-level knowledge that, not saying that we were part of that, but those guys were there, and it made the whole team work much better because we had the best of the best there too.
Well, you just about have to. There is a ton of people that go through that place. And there's a little responsibility there to keep them upright, Yeah. And what's your favorite thing in the motorsport? In the museum, you got to have a favorite because you've been through it a million times.
Oh gosh, that's tough. I guess the nostalgia area, and when you get into those areas, the older cars, and even the assembly and showroom area in there, really to see what they were like back then, how they were done, those kind of things. That's what I still enjoy, and that's the history lover in me. Is because and if you're going to restore a car, you better love history.
Oh yeah,
you got to dig and dig and dig.
Yeah, was restoring your Corvette harder than you thought it was going to be when you started?
I won't say harder. It consumed more of my life than I thought it would.
There you go. But it was worth it.
Yes, it was really enjoyable. I thought I'll never do another one, but 2 days after I finished it, I said, this is fun. I'll do this again.
I might do this again. So it's sort of like when you were studying engineering. You didn't really want to go to those classes at that time, but now it paid off, The museum, the thing, and Debbie tells everybody needs to, if they go to the museum, you need to work out at going on Miss Debbie Eaton's tour, because she knows some stuff that nobody else knows, and it's so interesting and fun. For example, there being a half of a '83 Corvette that nobody knew about. You know, everybody says there's just one. She said no, there's 1.5.
That's correct.
And then the clothing deal on the Duntov statue. That's funny. That's hilarious. But there's a lot of stuff that when it makes a place like that so much more interesting. I mean, you go in there, you're interested in Corvettes already,
Sure.
But if you get somebody like her to go with you and tell you the behind the scenes, it's sort of like going on the Nashville Trash Tour. I don't know if you've ever done that or not, but that's fun. Oh, write that on your list, my friend. They take you. You're riding in a pink bus to start with ladies that give you Cheese Whiz for lunch, and they're hilarious. But you ride through downtown. They say, we're going to take you to the one place in Nashville that every country music star has been in. And, boy, you're just all pumped up, and they take you by the county jail. So they're a lot of fun. So we got them a free plug on the radio.
There
anyway.
you go. Yep.
But put that on your bucket list, my friend. You going to run any national events with the Corvette?
Baby, I doubt if I'll get into it that deep. I'm having too much fun just racing against myself and just seeing what I can do with the car and getting comfortable with the car. I have a cousin that when he retired took up drag racing. He's running an outlaw street competition. He's wanting me to get into that. I had to slow the car down quite a bit to do that, and that's just not my blood. I want to go faster. I don't want to slow down. Yeah.
Honey, that's a drag racer to want to go faster. Yeah. That's something I never understood about being I have a tremendous amount of respect for the bracket guys. Yep. They are much smarter than me. I don't understand it, but I'm like you. I want to go a little faster.
Yeah.
And when I did it back, on the Columbus ship, we use that instead of a transporter. But the idea was to get there a little quicker, and I sort of liked that part. Yep.
That's the fun part.
Oh yeah,
you can't get your foot farther enough through that firewall. You just want to keep it in there.
We met a gentleman at the last NMCA event, and his name is Keith. Oh gosh, I should have kept my mouth shut. Twin turbocharged Corvette, fastest LT powered car in the world. 8th mile time 384, 194 in an eighth. Unbelievable. And it looks like of course it's not, of course, but it has the stock appearance, and all you see is the turbo inlets and the big exhaust, But he actually, the thing that's on TV, the Street Outlaw thing. You ever watch that? You watch that?
Yeah.
He called him. He said, hey, I can make this street legal. I want to do this. Well, they first said okay, and then they found out who he was. They said, no, you're not coming to play, But do you ever think you might want to do that?
That would be fun. I guess at my point in life, as I said, I want to go faster.
Yeah.
But there's also a budget thing out there,
Yeah.
I've got to be careful and keep the strings on that so I don't spend it all on the drag cars out there. But, yeah, it'd be fun to go faster and to be able to get into a car like that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to try it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's an old saying that drag racing will make you moderately wealthy if you're a millionaire to start with.
That's right.
And so, it tends to take its toll no matter who you are. The Corvette, and of course, I have a soft spot there too, because when I was a kid, I was 16. I held the A Sport NHRA national record in a 66 big block car.
Yeah.
And I've always loved the Corvettes. I mean, they're just I don't fit in them anymore. I look like an elephant riding a tricycle. But the guys were kidding me, and they said, "Oh yeah, you drive that thing." Said, "It's okay to watch you get in it, but it's hilarious to watch you get out of it."
Yeah, that's me. Yeah.
Yeah. They kept threatening to put it on YouTube, watching me get out of the thing. But I do like them. They're great cars, and I've always sort of been PO'd that the mayor of our city doesn't drive one.
Yeah. He needs to be supporting the habit here.
Well, really. I mean, we have the only one in the world.
Yeah.
And I think if you're going to be the mayor of Bowling Green, Bruce, I hope you're listening to this.
I do too.
Yeah, because I told him this at the opening of the Motorsports Park. I said, I think it's a doggone shame that the mayor of Bowling Green does not drive one.
Yeah, driving a pickup truck. Get a Corvette. Get out here.
Yeah, get a Corvette and be out here. Well, let's laugh at you getting out of it,
Yeah.
What? How long will it take them to fix the hole, Dennis?
Well, last update on that, in fact, just was yesterday, I got an update. We're still on target to have it up and back open by the 1st of July, first couple of weeks of July.
Really?
So we're 30 days away. Our work as far as DDS Engineering and what we've done on it, we finished up last concrete testing. I think last week we've got a little asphalt testing on the finishing up around the outside of the frustrum, but it's coming to close. It's just about done.
All right, I tell you what. Hold that thought just a second. We gotta pay for this somehow, buddy. We got to take a quick break and hear a word from our sponsors. But we are with Mr. Dennis Smith at DDS Engineering, and we're learning probably more than we need to know, but we're enjoying every minute of it. You're on Event Radio, guys. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Quick Fuel Technology, the innovators in fuel systems, introduces the latest in high-temperature coating technology for select street and performance carburetors. QFT's new Black Diamond series features a unique satin black Teflon coating that provides award-winning good looks and lasting durability. The Black Diamond series is impact-resistant, repels all underhood chemicals, and reduces fuel temperature by 6% for improved performance. The Black Diamond series by Quick Fuel, the ultimate in form and function.
All right, guys, we are back with our good friend, Mr. Dennis Smith. He is the head man. He is the grand poobah of DDS Engineering and the man that sort of gives them the direction on how to fix the hole at the Corvette Museum and said, look, boys, this is what you do. When we had to take a break, we were talking about concrete testing. So you guys, you don't just pour it and say, there it is. You test it, too?
Yeah, we pull samples of all the concrete that was going back in there, everything from even the grout that went into the micro piles that the building now is going to be sitting on, all the way up to the grade beams and the concrete and the floors. All of that's tested. The structural engineer gives us a spec of what that concrete should meet. We pull those samples, bring them back here to our lab. We cure those. We test them to make sure that concrete meets or exceeds that spec.
Well, yeah.
The contractor and the concrete supplier, their goal is to meet that spec or get above so they know it meets it in case there's environmental conditions that can cause it to go one way or the other. But our goal is to make sure that that's the best product that they can possibly have out there, and that's what we've done.
Well, buddy, I tell you what, they are I mean, I know you're not doing it free, but they are lucky to have you in this area, and they're lucky that you take it probably personal because you're a Corvette guy.
I sure do.
You take it more personal than the average cat that would be there. And I thank you for that because I am thrilled that Corvette is in our town. I am thrilled of all the tourism that it brings, all the other industries that have spun off of it. I mean, that's a pretty doggone big deal around here now.
It is. It really is.
And thanks to you, it's going to stay around here.
Well,
instead of I was kidding. I said the little man in China went up, got on his roof, and said, "Look what's coming!" And they brought me a Corvette. No, but it's a deal that you guys do it right, and I think that's so cool.
Well, we've had when you look at the big picture, we've had just a minuscule part in the museum, motorsports park, and everything, but we're proud to have been able to do that and provide that.
Well, you only did the part that made it stay there. Well, I mean, give me a break.
Yeah, But that was a challenge. It was fun to work through those problems, those opportunities. I don't like to say problems. They were opportunities for all of us to find solutions that worked and were economical and gave them an excellent finished product, and that's what we tried to do.
Well, let me compliment you, my friend. In your profession, the engineers, the drag racing sort of polishes the apple. And my big thing about drag racing is it's not like any other kind because there's no second chance. There's not you've got one time to make it right everywhere.
Right. Yep.
If you screw up anywhere along the line, you're beat.
Yep. It's
no
over.
matter what. So drag racing teaches you both how to do things well, how to do things quick, and how to do things right. And that's exactly what you do for a living, my friend, as far as being the engineer. The jobs you do, you don't want to have to go back and relick your calf, you know?
Right. That's exactly right.
And so you got to be right from the beginning. So you ought to make a heck of a drag racer, friend. I mean, you ought to be as bad on the box, We might put you against Forrest later or something,
Yeah.
Well, they were sure you can talk better than he does. But Dennis got any aspirations of maybe later on maybe doing a pro mod car or something like that?
Oh, that'd be cool. But there again, budget restraints may keep me from doing that.
Oh,
Of course,
budget restraints. Give me. I mean, guys, trust me. He's talking budget restraints here. Now, keep in mind, this is a gentleman that is head of DDS Engineering, which is one of the premier engineering firms in the South. Okay, we're sitting in a conference room that is absolutely gorgeous. That would be right at home with the New York Stock Exchange. He's got a hot rod Corvette that he plays with. He's got a absolutely gorgeous restored one, and he's worried about budget. God, give me a break.
So, but I've got the CFO of the company here that happens to be my wife, and she kind of keeps the
Oh,
reins
okay.
tight on me,
I
so-
understand that
Yeah.
now. Now, see, you've made it
Yeah,
all fall
I
into
had to
perspective.
get that out, yeah.
Well, it's all into perspective. You know, it's you made the deal when you got married. You learned the two words.
Yeah.
You know what those are?
What?
When you say "I do," the only two words you have to know is "yes, ma'am."
Yes, ma'am.
That's
Yeah.
it. Once you know that,
Or yes,
you got-
dear, or yes,
yeah,
I am.
one of the. As long as you know those,
got a yes in it.
Yeah, you got it covered. You got it covered. The Motorsports Park. They're building all of the buildings. Holly, which is one of our sponsors on this show, is building the control tower. I'm sure you took a part in that, didn't you?
We did the site work for that, site design for that. Of course, it was that part. It was kind of easy because the original intent of the Motorsports Park was for that tower to eventually get there. So we planned that as a part of it, as well as the garages. So we've been a part of that since the conception started years ago.
Okay.
So it's been an ongoing process.
Is there a provision out there for a bridge to go over it?
Not at this time. We actually, if you look back at some of our original conceptual drawings, and when we were asked to let's dream the pie in the sky plan, there was actually a tunnel planned, actually two dual bore tunnel under I-65 to connect the museum with the Motorsports Park. There was also some bridges over the track within the facility itself. But the main goal right now, and originally when we started this thing, main goal was to get a track that we could do 2 or 3 options as far as the way we could run the configuration, and get the enthusiast out there, get them a place to get out there and enjoy it, get them when they go to the museum and do a delivery, they can take it over there and get with a professional instructor and learn how to drive that car. And that's what we've done.
Right,
I still say we. I mean, I'm off the board, but I still
Well,
got
but
that
we
attachment to it.
that's your baby, my friend.
It is.
You've been at it since the inception. You did all of the technical work to make it work. And so, yeah, that's your baby. I understand. My only reason for asking about the bridge is I went to school in New York, and I went to Watkins Glen a lot because that was the only thing close to a race that I could go to.
All right.
And my only thing that I gripe about on a road course is being able to see it,
Right.
to see it all. Well, most all of them that I have been to, Road Atlanta and there in Riverside, they have a bridge that lets you go into the infield so you can move from place to place. And that was the reason for asking this. And I know that there's going to be an observation tower on top of the Holly Tower. Right. But you can't put that many people up there, friend.
Well, there'll be that observation deck, party patio, whatever you might want to call it there at the Holly Tower. But also on the garages that are under construction now, they will have an observation deck that will be facing out toward the straightaway of the track.
Yeah.
And yes, the bridge idea, that's still out there. There was a possibility that we would get a bridge over into some of the interior portion of the track. There's even some conceptual sketches around here of that idea. Those sponsorships. We'd love to put a Holly or Quick Fuel or some of those names right on that bridge too.
Of course.
Yeah, those ideas are still out there. But we're kind of taking it baby steps. But even though it was a $20 million baby step, we're still getting there, and there's a lot of other steps can be taken.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, my friend, your reputation precedes you. If there is a way to make it any better, you will come up with that answer. Very simple. And because, as I said in the beginning, you don't do any junk. You don't do any stuff that does not get attention, that does not command attention, really, because the quality is there. My hat's off to you. I mean, it's
Thank you.
The things you've done, the things you have laid out to happen, and the design effort and that kind of stuff. And then the design's easy. Making it work is tricky, and that's where you come in because you make it work. And
we try hard.
Well, no, you do it, and I think that's cool. That's about as cool as pockets on a shirt. I sort of like that, Dennis Smith, 10 years from now, what are you going to do?
Well, everybody asks me when I'm going to retire. if you'd asked me 40 years ago what I'm going to be doing 10 years, I'd say I want to be retired. Mm-hmm. But the closer I have become to that point that I can retire, the less desirable it is.
Well, the hardest thing in the world to do, my friend, is nothing.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing to do. My dad always told me that, and I thought, you have lost your mind. But as I get older, he was exactly right. And it really is. It really is. You got to have something. You got to have a purpose. I don't care if you got a blue zillion dollars. You got to have a reason to get up in the morning.
Exactly.
And having that pretty wife is, you got to have more than that. You got to have something. A guy does. He's got to have a project in the garage, or he's got to have something to make him want to go. And fortunately, you have a huge talent that you can rely on anytime that anybody would love to partake in.
But 10 years from now, we've got some talented folks right here within our organization that at some point I want to back out of it a little more. I'm slowing down. I don't come in at 6:30, 7 o'clock anymore.
Oh, you wait till 8 now?
Yeah, probably 8:30. I try to drag in here, but I've slowed down a lot of that, and I've passed more of that off. And eventually, I want to back out of it a little bit. But I don't see myself ever being completely away from here. Even if I do hand the reins over to someone else, I still want to have a part here.
As good as you are at what you do, is it hard to turn it over to somebody?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's.
I mean, you know, anybody that's as good as you are at what they do, that's got to be hard to do now.
It is, and I don't care what you do. It's hard to do. We, my son and I, our family raised a registered Angus for a number of years and had herds, in 3 counties around here. Uh-huh. And it got to the point that it was more than we could do. We started hiring people, and they did a good job. But as my son and I said one day, we were out checking on things, and it's just. He doesn't do it. He does it good. It's right and it works, but it's not like we want it done.
There you go.
And this was our farm manager, so it's difficult. Same way here. If I hand it off to someone else, it's going to be difficult.
There's
I put 42 years of my life into this thing already.
Yeah, I know. So, all right, answer me a cow question. Is it true they can tell the weather?
The cows?
Yes.
They've got a pretty good handle on it. Yeah,
and the reason a good friend of mine was a fellow by the name of Bud Greenup that was an auctioneer. And he sold a lot of cattle sales and stuff like that. He said, boy, you don't never need to watch TV. He said, you just watch the cows.
Watch the cows.
And he said if they were bunched under a tree, it was going to rain. Yep. And if they were, I don't know, he gave me a list, And I was wondering, with you being in that business, I figured you'd know. You
can see it. You can see it. And it's interesting to watch the animal kingdom. Even feed time.
Yeah.
We'd have a bunch of cows with calves out there, and there was one old cow that was appointed as a babysitter.
Okay.
Seriously.
Really?
You'd see her huddle up around with 8 or 10 calves, and the rest of them go eat. When they got done eating, she'd go eat. Next day, maybe another cow out there. They're smarter than we give them credit for.
Well, yeah, they are. And Bud said they had a way to feel the atmospheric pressure. That's really what happened,
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, man, that's pretty cool. A lot of people could drive by and they see all these cows in the field. You say, well, there's cows in the field, but they're smart, and animals are pretty cool.
They are. God gave them a talent and an innate ability to get out there and understand that. And just last week, I was headed home. There's a big herd of Angus right there, not too far from where we live now, and there was a cloud coming up, and here's about 35 cows converging into trails and headed for the woods.
There you go.
And they just like what you said, Bud told you about.
Yeah,
that's what they were doing.
Oh yeah. It's. I find that extremely interesting, and I don't know why. I mean, I'm not a farm guy. I never grew up on a farm or anything, but I find that farmers. I have the probably utmost farmers and truck drivers and waitresses are the 3 people that I have more respect for than probably anybody out there.
Oh, yeah.
Very simple. The farmers can do everything right, and the dear old weather will kill them. The truck guys, best drivers on the road, and you got some bozo that runs them off in a ditch.
Yep.
And the waitresses work harder for their money than anybody out there. And guys, if you're listening to this show and you don't tip a waitress good, you are a no count, because that's how these little ladies and young men are making their money. And get off the hip.
Yep.
That's all I can tell you. Listen, Dennis, our time has flown through here, buddy.
We could talk all day.
Well, we'd have fun all day, but then they'd cut us off on the radio, and we couldn't do that. But it's been actually my pleasure to finally get together.
Yeah.
We've been trying to do this for months, and you are so busy at what you do. getting together with you has I probably could get an audience with the president just about as easy, but I'm tickled that we worked it out.
Well, I've enjoyed it. I look forward to it, and we both had a little tragedy in our life. It kind of helped to delay us, but we've got that past us, and we're moving on.
Well, buddy, I tell you what, I think we need to find us a couple of skateboards, strip off naked, and go through the parking lot.
There we go.
That's the
Sounds
one
like
thing.
fun.
That's the one thing you said neither one of us had done.
Yeah.
So maybe we ought to do that. Guys, listen, we appreciate you joining us on Event Radio more than you know. Dennis, we appreciate you taking your time, my friend. And
Baby, I just thank you for allowing me to be a part of it. Appreciate
listen,
it a bunch.
Hey, it's our honor to get to expose a little of the cool things that you do to the people, and just another feather in my hat saying how cool drag racers really are. And I get to introduce you to people like Dennis that you sort of know the other side of them. You know that this is how come they're cool racers, that it carries over. But thank you for taking your time to be on Event Radio. It's been a pleasure, my friend, and it was worth the wait. Let's put it that way.
Feeling was mutual here.
All right.
Enjoyed it.
Guys, as always, we never, ever end our show without thanking our sponsors, the great people at Beach Bend Park and Splash Lagoon, the absolutely best carburetor builders in the world, the guys at Quick Fuel Technologies, our buddies that that could even make an ugly thing pretty, the guys at Final Finish in Morgantown that do all the awesome powder coating body work and actually hold a little bit of an honor. One of the cars they did, every car show it has ever been in has won People's Choice. So I'd say they know just a little about what they do. The great guys at Holly Performance that are building the new tower at the Motorsports Park. And as I've said many times, guys, with as many lines as those guys have, if you can't find a part for your hot rod at Holly, my friend, you do not have a hot rod. Yeah. Last but not least, the absolute coolest magazine on the Internet, the Gearhead Gazette. Any event that you see us at, and please join us at some of those, we find out where they are and what's going on by going to gearheadgazette.com. And, man, it's a cool thing to do because everything that's fun in the whole region, they cover it and tell you about when it's going to be, where it's going to be at, and all that fun stuff. Guys, if you have enjoyed what you have been hearing, please tell a friend. But if not, you keep that to yourself. We appreciate you joining us on Event Radio, and we will talk again.
You've been listening to Event Radio, covering local drag racing, stock car racing, motorcycles, go-karts. If it's got wheels and you can race it, you heard about it here. Event Radio is motorsports radio on steroids. Join us next time with your hosts, Spivey Williams and Terrible T Guy.